The 2026 edition of Milestone's official game of the MotoGP World Championship is here, and it features new rider-based physics, as well as a reworked career mode. But is it a worthy addition to the series? Let's go find out. MotoGP 26 is based upon MotoGP, the World Championship of motorbike racing, and this game features all the bikes from MotoGP as well as from Moto2 and Moto3. All the tracks that are raced throughout the season are featured as well, and new this year is the Goiania Track from Brazil.
This circuit has unique characteristics, and Marc Marquez has shown he knows how to adapt to them better than anyone else. He's in pole position in the race that will start in a few moments.
This is a high-speed track with a fairly simple layout. It is fully raceable in this year's game, and minus the sinkhole, which disrupted the race weekend earlier in the year, all the tracks in MotoGP 26 are presented really, really well. This year's game is in Unreal Engine 5, and I think the MotoGP games generally look really, really nice graphically. That being said, I can't see a huge difference between this year's game and last year's game. Last year, Milestone redid the sounds for the MotoGP bikes, and this year they've gone and redone them for the Moto2 and Moto3 bikes. They've completely re-recorded them, and the bikes do sound a fair bit different. The Moto2 bikes especially, they sound like they have a lot less of a screamy engine noise than last year. The Moto3 bikes also sound really, really nice, and they're a great entry point into learning to play this game, especially before you get to the really, really difficult MotoGP bikes. I think you should start at Moto3, and they sound really, really good. New this year, the menus for MotoGP 26 are set within the MotoGP paddock, and it's a vibe that I really, really like. It reminds me of playing the F1 2010 and F1 2011 games. And yeah, career mode is the bulk of the single player, and that takes place in the hospitality area of the paddock. Career mode has a whole heap of new animations and some new systems, some different options and tweaks, but overall, it's similar to last year's game. You go to the brand new Thursday press conference where you set a goal for the next couple of races, like becoming a team's #1 rider, or earning a development boost for your bike, or making friends with a new team. And then you choose a rival to race against, and then you race the rival for a couple of races. And if you beat them, you get the reward that you wanted. But if you don't beat them, you pick a different goal, and then you repeat until you become world champion. You can develop your bike through the season and over seasons. The debriefs return from last year's game, where you can actually kind of steer the development of the bike. And any bike can be #1 this year. If you spend enough time developing the Yamaha, technically, eventually you can make it the fastest. The riders have skill rankings like in the F1 games, where they have a number value for how fast they are or how aggressive they are, and these numbers will be updated throughout the season as well. In career mode, same as last year, you can create your own custom rider and customize a bunch of their gear and riding style, but new this year, you can actually select an existing rider from the MotoGP grid and play as them. I tried it as new rider Toprak Razgatlıoglu. I can't pronounce his name. I tried it as new rider to the grid Toprak, and it immediately got weird. So in the preview build, when playing as an existing rider, you can't turn off rider changes from the first season, so you'll automatically get some wacky stuff from the start. Before my first race had even started in the career, Marco Bezzecchi had already gone to Honda, and Johan Zarco was riding for Gresini. And I've not played enough of career mode, but I think it'll get kind of wild. I've not also seen if regen characters will appear in seasons down the line as well. If you do pick an existing rider, you're also only limited to the 5 slowest teams if you want to start in MotoGP, which normally I like being restricted and like kind of giving a sense of progression. But it means if you want to play as Marc Marquez, for example, you can't start on the factory Ducati. You need to start in like, I don't know, Trackhouse or something. And if you want to start at the bottom of the ladder as Marc Marquez, you can't do it from like 10 years ago. You need to start from the 2026 season as a 33-year-old Marc Marquez, beating up on all the kids in the Moto3 series, which kind of sounds hilarious, but doesn't exactly fit. So if you do want to just do a season as one of these existing riders, it's probably still better to do it in the championship mode. Physics have received a large overhaul this year with the new rider-based handling. Basically what this means is that you are supposedly controlling the rider, not the bike. And what this actually feels like when I've been playing the game is not super different to last year's game. The main difference for me is that turning feels more responsive, the bike feels like it wants to change direction quicker, and Milestone have recorded a whole bunch of new animations for the riders to match, which means they look kind of different when they're riding around the track. It is super subtle, but you can notice certain things. The main animation that I see that's different is the little butt shuffle the riders do when they leave a corner and they adjust their body weight on the seat. They lean on the other side of the seat while they're still leaning that way. I don't know how to describe it, but it's new and it looks cool. The curbs have also been calmed down a tiny bit. They will still throw you in the air if you ride over a bunch of them. And the starts are also way better. It actually feels like you get a similar start to most of the AI. It looks way cooler and it makes the run to the first corner a lot more exciting as well. Another change this year that I don't remember from previous games, and I'm pretty sure it's happening in the game unless my eyes are deceiving me, is the camera seems to be changing at high speed. When you're getting above 250 kilometers an hour or so, it feels like the field of view is opening up a little bit, and then it feels like you're going a million miles per hour, and then when you hit the brakes, the camera tightens up. I don't know if I'm going crazy seeing that, but I think that's a new feature. Dynamic AI returns in MotoGP 26, and it is a system that automatically adjusts the difficulty as you ride. I have mixed feelings about it. I like not having to select a difficulty when I'm playing a racing game, having to select the number is really difficult, but it does feel like dynamic AI adjusts too quickly. I can feel it changing lap by lap. If I get too good of a launch and pass 6 bikes off the start, the game is you're too good, let's turn the AI up. And then I get passed by 6 bikes on the second lap of the race. And then the game is oh no, she actually sucks at this game. And then it turns the AI down and then I pass the 6 bikes back again. And it just keeps kind of pogoing like that. I'm not sure if this is something that other players have noticed, but it makes me do all sorts of things like tank in qualifying until the last second where the AI are all really slow. And then I go really, really fast at the end and put it on pole by a second. Maybe that's BM, but yeah, stuff you can do with dynamic AI. With the actual physics and the riding of the bike though, arcade mode makes a return this year, and it is a really good feature. It makes the game still play pretty similarly to the existing pro mode, but it is way harder to fall off the bike. It means you can kind of play the game similarly to another game like Forza or Gran Turismo, where you can just go full throttle, full brake, and then full steering lock. It means that if you want to play MotoGP and just have fun with it, you can. But for racers that do want to take it a bit more seriously, pro mode still does exist. I played most of the game using the pro physics, and I think it's important that I talk about how difficult this game is, especially under brakes. In my opinion, MotoGP 26 is the most difficult controller racing game that there is. In a car racing game, if you make a mistake and go too fast into a corner, you will probably just understeer wide. But in MotoGP 26, if you make a mistake and brake too late, you'll carry too much brake when you turn in, and then you'll low side and you'll fall off the bike and crash, which makes the risk of making a mistake way, way higher than in other racing games. I've played many of these Milestone bike games now, and I know what you're thinking. This is a skill issue, but it has been my experience playing the game in the review, and I just feel like it's important that I tell you because I found it kind of frustrating. While we're on the topic of things that I didn't like, the ride-off feature is back this year, and it has flat track racing, motard, and mini bikes like last year, as well as a new track, Canterbury Park. Motard is the most fun of these, mini bike is kind of air, and flat track is just really not very fun. I was actually kind about it in last year's review, but I've since changed my mind. It does feel like you're playing a worse version of the dirt racing in Ride 6. Production bike races are also new this year, and you can only ride against the same manufacturer of bikes, so it's like a little spec race that you're in. And I also didn't enjoy it. Coming from Ride 6, this whole feature feels kind of like an afterthought, kind of like the GT cars in the F1 games a few years ago. And yeah, I just didn't really enjoy it. I also noticed a few bugs playing in the review copy. These may be fixed by the day one patch, but so far I found if you time a reset at the right time while cornering, you can make a bunch of AI fall off their bikes. And also when leaving pit lane, there's like a little timer that counts down the autopilot to when you get control, and that's just like made up. You get control, it doesn't make sense, the bar. Anyway, that may get patched, but I think it's worth saying. On a positive, a new feature to this year's game are the trading cards. You collect a pack of trading cards after each race and championship that you complete, and it's cute. They've got a well-known artist, Renka Fujiwara, to draw some cards as well. And yeah, some love has gone into this feature. I don't think it's super interesting. It's probably not gonna make me play the game more than I am, but it's a thumbs up. Multiplayer also returns in this year's game with ranked racing and a similar amount of game modes as last year as well. If you're about to buy your first MotoGP game, there is a lot here that you will like. They're generally really, really fun games to play. If you're coming from MotoGP 24 or 25 though, this game is technically better, but unless you're a huge MotoGP fan and are desperate to race Goiania, it's probably not worth buying. The improvements over MotoGP 25 are pretty small. I gave MotoGP 26 3 stars. If you're planning to play MotoGP 26, it launches on the 29th of April on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, PC, and Nintendo Switch. And it's also a fun game to play on handheld. It is like one of my go-to games on my Xbox Ally. But will you be playing MotoGP 26? Also, sorry for saying MurderGP 26 all the time. I'm Australian, that's just how we talk. But yeah, let me know in the comments. I'm interested to hear your thoughts. And you can leave a like if you found the review useful at all. And you can also subscribe to Overtake for more racing game and sim racing videos. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.